All right. Hello, Beverly. Welcome back to the B4 podcast, the podcast where we talk all things Beverly and Beverly 400 plus. I'm your host, Lindsay Barth, and if you love Beverly as much as I do, you're in the right place. As you may know, Beverly's 400th anniversary is coming up in 2026, and this podcast is where we'll be bringing you behind the scenes with the folks who are making this celebration one of our best yet. Today, I am so excited to be joined by none other than fellow board member Al Temkin. You may know Al from the Temkin Financial Group, or perhaps through his new venture, Al Temkin's Productions, or as the host and organizer of our beloved annual holiday parade. Please welcome Beverly Chamber of Commerce's Citizen of the Year, Al Temkin, to the podcast. Al, welcome.
Well, thank you, Lindsay. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Excited to have you on.
Thank you.
So I have a ton of questions for you, but we'll start sort of getting a little bit of background on how you came to be so involved in this community. Did you grow up in Beverly? Is this sort of your place?
I did not. I grew up not too far away. I grew up in Peabody, but I've now been in Beverly for about coming up on 40 years.
Wow.
So I almost feel like, I've been here my whole life.
Does that qualify you as a townie?
You know what? In the city of Beverly, I don't believe it does. I really don't believe it does. I think you either were born and brought up here or you weren't. And
Fair.
That's that.
Yep.
So I weren't. And, but, we have two daughters, and they went through the public school system here in Beverly.
Oh, nice.
3 of my 4 grandchildren are now going through the Beverly public school system here.
Oh, amazing.
So it's kind of cool, and it's a lot of fun watching them kind of grow up and go to exactly the same elementary school that their mom went to.
Yeah.
And my daughter's very involved. She's the PTO president actually at the Cove School.
Oh, very
so
nice.
So she's very involved over there, as her mother was when our kids were growing up. So yeah, it's kind of cool. But I don't know. I guess in terms of involvement, I just have always felt that if you have some time, and if you truly want to be beneficial to other people and you have the means to do it, then I think it's something that you should do. And based on that, that's the philosophy that my wife and I have maintained throughout our coming up on 45 years of marriage.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so that's just the way it's been. So it's kind of gone from, one thing to then another thing, and then, it's like anything else. As you get more involved in the community, you get asked more to be involved. And it at one point became very difficult to say no, but I've come to understand and realize that sometimes you just have to say no, because I'm just not the kind of a person that wants to be on a letterhead. If I get involved in an organization, I want to be involved. I want to make a difference.
Right.
I don't want to be one of those people that shows up once a year to a meeting because my name's on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way that I roll. So yeah, it's just been wonderful. And the parade, you mentioned the parade.
Yes.
We're coming up on 78 years.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Parade this
Whoa.
year. Yeah, I mean it's been it could be the oldest in the country.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure of that.
We're going to have to fact check that.
We really should. But if it's not, it's certainly in probably the top 2 or 3 or 4.
Definitely.
And it's become a real big deal. I mean, that's just something everybody looks forward to, and it's just a great citywide event, and it gets families out and all the things that it's supposed to do. So, and thank God for BevCam, because they shoot us every year, and
yes.
So everybody that even those that can't be here or they're away, they can see it. So it's kind of neat.
That's awesome. And how did you get involved in the holiday parade? How did that come about?
Years ago, I'm not even sure I remember how I initially got involved. I think it was through BevCam, actually, because there was a guy that was doing the on-air thing for several years, and he was retiring or going away or something. And somehow, I actually don't have an answer for you. Somehow, I ended up becoming the on-screen person at that time with Tina Cassidy. That's a name you probably won't remember. Tina Cassidy was our city planner here for years.
Okay.
In the Scanlon administration.
Gotcha.
Tina is awesome. She's just a just a wonderful, wonderful woman. She was fun to work with. And so she and I did it for several years. And then Tina took a job, I forget where now, somewhere else. And Andy Friedman and I did the parade for several years. And Andy, you probably know her. She's does I think a couple of things on BevCam. She's very, very good at what she does. She's very good in front of a camera. And we had a great time together. Worked for several years on the parade, and we our banter back and forth was something that people spoke about fairly often, and it worked out really, really well. And then the past couple of years, my wife Francine and I have been doing it.
I know, I love that.
It's kind of a neat thing, husband and wife kind of thing, and all that stuff.
We love to see it.
And I think it's kind of cool. And she also is, like Andy, very, very good in front of a camera, and she does have the gift of gab. I can tell you that's not always a plus, but she does.
It is on that day.
Yeah, it is on that day. Good point. So so that's become like a big deal, and
that's great.
It kind of led to some other opportunity. I used to do the Andy and I used to do the election nights.
Oh, wow.
If you're watching like national elections and you're watching one of the major stations, and they have the panel. Well, Andy and I used to do that, and I always loved it. I just enjoyed it because it forced me to study the candidates a little bit more than I do anyway.
Sure.
And be prepared for that. And we used to really enjoy that. I used to really enjoy that. And maybe that's kind of a plug that maybe BevCam should bring that back again.
Maybe, considering we have an upcoming mayoral election.
We do, and I just happen to think that the Lindsay and Al show might be something that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we ought to think about that, Rob.
Well,
so
listen, anything to get people more involved in our local politics and just being aware of the candidates and what's going on, I think is important. So.
Well, it sure is. We had a forum this morning. The chamber sponsored, but the Greater Beverly Chamber sponsored a forum this morning.
That's right. Yeah, for state rep.
For state rep with Hannah and Medley, and they both did a really, really nice job.
Oh,
had a nice crowd there.
Good.
For breakfast this morning, and they did a great job and answered a whole pile of questions. Dave Olson moderated it. It was really good. But I agree with you. I think that people need to be more involved, and people need to study and understand and see, what side of the issues they're on and all of that stuff to help them determine who they should be voting for.
Definitely. Absolutely. Well, we'll have to talk off mic about perhaps bringing that back. I think that's a
love
really
it,
cool
love it.
idea. And getting back to the holiday parade. So this year's holiday parade, I have been watching for years. I think it's one of the most exciting days in Beverly. But this year I got to march because the Beverly 400 big float, our cake, was ushered through, and we were the what was it? The
Grand Marshal.
The Grand Marshal, yes. So thank you so much for allowing Beverly 400 to get sort of out in front of the community. And it was just a really exciting day to kind of showcase the start of this really exciting planning year. So
I was so happy to that the committee agreed that the Beverly 400 should be the Grand Marshal. And so happy that we got that goofy-looking cake that Todd got, this goofy-looking cake from Gloucester.
It's magnificent.
It is magnificent now.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was kind of we kind of use it as the kickoff of Beverly 400 because nobody had pretty much heard of it before that. Mm-hmm. So last year we brought it down the street, and if you watch the BevCam show, we talked about it quite a bit to help people understand what it is and why it's there and all of that type of thing. And there will be an parade again this year.
Amazing.
I'll be
there.
We're looking forward to that. And I think it was a great way to introduce Beverly 400 and the fact that we're going to celebrate the rich history of our city next year to a big crowd, because the parade attracts thousands of people from this city all up and down Cabot Street.
I had no idea how many people, because obviously in years past I just found one really good spot to watch the parade.
Yeah.
Marching in the parade is a whole different experience.
Oh.
I immediately was like, oh my God, there's so many people looking at me.
Yeah, right.
It was really intense, but it really was such a beautiful display of how many community members show up for that and just how excited the kids are. And it's a really, really great
event. It's just another family event, and we always need more of those and always need a reason to get families together to share time and spend time together and create memories. And it's kind of interesting too, because a lot of these small businesses up and down Cabot Street get creative.
Yeah.
They get real creative, so they attract people into their businesses, many of whom had never been there before.
Right.
Yeah, it just becomes a good, and you know what, I mean, from the start of the parade to the end, it's about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot more time before that and the staging and all of that, which
I'm sure,
we do at the high school, but under the direction of Steve Crowley, who really, he's been involved with this parade longer than I have. He's been involved for many, many years, and he handles all the staging and everything, and it's just great. Medley's been involved with us. He does our website, pro bono, and John Kenny is involved, Phil Broderick. We've got a bunch of people, Linda Turcott, just a bunch of people that just step up. And again, these are the doers of the community. These are the people that don't just say, yeah, put me in. These are the people who actually get their hands dirty and do what needs to be done to get this thing done. Because this is we'll start working on this year's parade in about a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we go, and then once we get to September, it's full tilt until parade day.
Amazing.
It really is. So it's a lot of work, but it's fun work.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
And it's fun when you have that many people that are just doers and are willing to roll up their sleeves and get in there and help.
Love working with people like you that do that. That's just say, let's get this done. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Well, on that topic, how did you get involved with Beverly 400?
Well, my friend Medley called me one day. Excuse me. Called me one day and he said, hey, you know anything about Beverly 400? I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, Medley. Well, the birthday, I said, oh, great. He said, well, Todd is setting up this committee and, your name came up. So next thing I knew, I was on the committee. So
that's how it happens.
And I have to tell you that being involved in this committee has really been a lot of fun. It's something I'm very proud of and I'm learning from. I mean, watching Todd manage this and run this committee and deal with the different personalities, including mine, that are on this, he's just good. I don't think that we would have been anywhere near where we are right now in terms of progress without his leadership. I think he's really done a great job, really good job.
I agree. I think Todd is an amazing leader, and I mean, we're a volunteer board, and like you've said, this isn't a board where we just write our name on the header. We are doing the work, so
exactly right.
That's great. And speaking of the work, what is your role? What are you doing with Beverly 400?
So I have been asked to handle the fundraising piece of the things,
which is a huge important part. Absolutely.
Well, it is, but Todd is also pretty much leading that charge, and I'm just kind of following him around, and he's just, hey, contact this person, okay, and I just do as I'm told. but we've done well. We've raised a bunch of money on our way to where we think we need to be, and we have a very ambitious agenda, particularly for 2026, relative to the events that we want to run and the things that we want to accomplish, so that we can accomplish educating the citizens of Beverly of the great history this city has had, or has, I should say, and at the same time have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of neat. So it's been a fun project.
Sure.
Anytime you ask anybody for money, it can be a bit challenging. I don't have any problem asking for pretty much anything. So I'm just that person. And it's worked out well because Todd can't do that based on his role here in the city.
Sure.
And thank God we have him in a role in the city. But I can.
Yeah, there you go.
So it works out. It just works out great. So it's been a fun process.
Good. And what a unique fundraising situation where we are a sort of temporary nonprofit. We are celebrating this 1 year. We'd love to leave behind a legacy and show some projects that sort of live on beyond 2026. But ultimately, a lot of what we're fundraising for really just goes to that one big year, and then that's it. So it is sort of a unique fundraising situation, but it seems like we're getting a lot of community support, and a lot of people are really excited.
We are. We're finding, as word is getting out through our efforts and other efforts, that people are now starting to understand that this is a big deal.
Sure.
And we've got some of the major employers in the city that are stepping up
Oh, that's
which
great.
is kind of cool. And one of the things that there's several things that I'm very excited about, but one of the things that's really kind of cool is we're going to have the Vietnam Memorial Wall here in the city.
That's going to be huge.
Isn't that, I mean, that is just like a big deal. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think that the Veterans Association, needless to say, is just extremely excited and want to work with us because this wall has to have 24/7 security.
Sure.
So,
yeah, makes sense.
So the Veterans Organization under Dave Perrinchill, I think is his last name.
Parent Chief, yeah.
Yeah, him.
Yep.
Has stepped up in a big way, and so they're going to help us with the security pieces of that.
Oh, that's great.
But that's just one of the things. But there are several things that we look to do in 2026. Kicking off in January with our Winter Festival.
Oh my gosh!
Which,
yes.
That's gonna be fun. We're coupling that with the mayor's reception.
Amazing.
Yeah, which will be kind of cool at Lynch Park. That's going to kind of kick things off for I think for the year.
Great.
And then with just several events and all kinds of things that everybody can be involved with in some way, shape, or form. It's going to be a monumental year. And you mentioned legacy. If I talk too much, try and shut me up. That
I
may
don't
not
know if
work
that's
for
possible.
you, but yeah. The Legacy Project, which is being headed up by Jen Wallace, who is, I know you know Jen, and I got to know Jen. I actually was involved in hiring Jen when she was the
Really?
executive director of Beverly Main Streets.
Oh my gosh.
One of the best decisions that I was ever involved with because she
Absolutely.
just killed it. And Jen is a wonderful human being and a wonderful person. And so she's heading up the legacy piece of this, which
Yes.
is a complete redo of Independence Park.
I am so excited to have Jen on next month. We're going to be talking all about this legacy project and her plans. There's so many people involved. It's just such an exciting thing to be able to say, you know, we left our mark in 2026, but it's still here.
And under her leadership, that park is going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's nice now, but it's going to
Beautiful.
be amazing. And by the time she gets done with it, I mean, it's going to be ADA accessible, which it is not right now. We're going to have, plaques and things around so people will understand the history. I don't know if you knew this. You probably did, but a lot of people listening probably did not. The Declaration of Independence was read at Independence Park before it was read in Boston.
Oh my gosh.
How cool
Wait,
is that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until Jen told me.
What?
So
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
When you
cool.
think about this country and all the great things that we are, that document, right, which is so valuable and important to every citizen in this country, was read at Independence Park. So,
Amazing.
yeah, so it's kind of cool, and one of the things that we're hoping to have is a kind of a redo of the battleships, the Nautilus and the Hannah,
Yes.
which had a big issue right off the shores of Beverly. So we're going to try to reenact that, which would be kind of fun.
I think that's going to be amazing.
It will be amazing. And then, but by the time Jen and her committee get done with that, with Independence Park, that's going to be a place where everybody will be able to go and sit and relax and look at the water, read all the history of what's going on here in the city. I believe there's going to be an opportunity for the sponsors to have their name on a brick or on something there, so people's families for many years to come can see Grandpa's name on the stone or whatever it is, and so it's going to be an exciting year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's really exciting to see that any of the fundraising that we're doing, that money's going directly back into those types of projects.
Right.
It's going directly into a legacy project or a special event, a commemoration. That's just such a unique opportunity, I feel like, in terms of, you know, being able to see the dollars go directly back into the community
And
that
it's going
way.
to be here forever,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean, that's, many, many years long after, we're not here anymore, people will walk through there and say, oh, this is kind of cool. The Beverly 400 was back in 2026. And
It's pretty amazing.
so I just think it's kind of cool. And I just, we as a committee, the work that we've done in just a year, again, under Todd's leadership, is unbelievable. And we have other cities and towns in the area that have already had their birthday, and others that are coming up that, as we understand it, they're not even close to relative to the work that we're doing. And as you said, this is we're a nonprofit. There's nobody getting paid. All volunteer. Nobody getting paid to do anything.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. It really is cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And as you've been sort of reaching out to members of the community, sharing what we're going to be doing, what's the response been like?
Response has been very good. People, because it's so new and it's kind of just getting word out, people are kind of want more information, and now we're able to provide that. And again, with the fact that some of the major employers in the city have already stepped up, the state has already stepped up.
Amazing.
The city has pledged their support to us as well. People are starting to catch on a little bit.
That's great.
So yeah, and we expect certainly during the latter part of this year for that to kick into really second and third gear.
Definitely. Yeah, we're rounding the bend. We're getting there. 2026 is very fastly approaching.
Right. Time goes by pretty fast these days. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
I'm definitely noticing as we're planning all these events. I'm like, it's months away rather than a year away at this point.
It's just crazy how. And I'll tell you what, you got a ways to go, but you get to my age. Time goes by. It's like crazy. It's almost like you miss days now. It's like, it's Saturday again? What happened on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? It's like they're gone. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Wild. Yeah. Well, so in terms of, how people are getting involved and the community being really excited, we certainly understand not everyone can donate, but there's definitely ways that people can get involved, right? So what are the other ways that folks can kind of jump in and lend a hand?
Well, like anything, we're going to need a pile of volunteers during the year to help us manage and man, if you will, the events that we have. We're always looking for creative thoughts and ideas. We've got several different committees. You mentioned Jen, she runs one of them. And there's several other committees that people can join these committees and get involved and not have to sit at board meetings if it's not their thing.
Sure.
There are those that can certainly donate and sponsor, which, needless to say, like any other organization, we need money. It's going to take money to do what we need to do.
Sure,
so there are those that can do that, but there are some that may want to help and contribute in other ways, and we will accept that wholeheartedly, right? We're talking about a project right now that I'm looking forward to this getting into the next phase where we're going to try and involve the school system in Beverly to help support some of the projects that we're looking at for 2026. Get the kids involved a little bit. How cool is that?
That's so cool.
If we, once we accomplish this, because we will, and now the kids are doing things, pictures and books and whatever it is they're going to do, which means they're learning about the history of their city, right, at this very young age. Who knows where they can take that? It's kind of a neat thing.
Definitely, yeah. And they're contributing to the history as well. They're a part of it.
How cool is that? And now that's going to get their parents involved, because parents always want to be involved with their kids. It's going to get grandma and grandpa involved because they always be
family affair.
There's all of these things where it could be so cool. But there are several ways to get involved, and I would suggest to anybody, look at the website, beverly400.org. You just go on the website, take a look at the things that we're doing and what we are planning to do, and then please determine how you can help us. Trust me when I tell you, we'll take all the help we can get.
Yes, I second that, absolutely. And just sort of on a personal note, when you look back on the work that we've all put in on Beverly 400, what's your dream for how this will all be remembered, how people will look back in 50, 100 years? What do you want this to be?
That is really a powerful question, and a really, really good one, because I love getting involved in anything where there is an end game. And for me, I think it's, I don't know about 50 years, because I certainly won't be here 50 years from now, but many years from now, it would be kind of neat if people that whose families were somehow involved or from Beverly, and supported the birthday can look back and say, hey, here's what we did and here's why. I think I would love for people, as you and I were just talking about, I just learned about the reading of the Declaration of Independence. So people who learn more about the history of the city and the greatness of this city, and talk about that in years ahead, I think it would be kind of cool.
Definitely.
I think having people who support the organization and can have their name or their family name on a rock or a stone or whatever Jen comes up with, because it'll be something good.
Oh, yeah.
And to be there forever is kind of cool. And then I think, taking it just kind of a little bit aside from the Beverly 400, sitting back and realizing that, hey, a group of knuckleheads kind of sat around a table and said, hey, let's do this kind of thing. And you got this guy Rotundo, who leadership skills are amazing. And next thing you know, boom, we got this great big thing going on. Yeah. So I think it's a great lesson in you can do anything.
Absolutely.
You sit around a table with the right people, ask the right questions, lead it the right way, treat people the way they deserve to be treated, and stuff happens.
I couldn't agree more.
Stuff just happens.
Well, as one knucklehead to another, I am so grateful for everything that you've put into this. It's been really wonderful working with you on the board, and I'm looking forward to 2026. I know we have a ton of good stuff coming up, so thank you.
Well, Lindsay, thank you, and thank you for putting all the emphasis on this, on Beverly 400, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And let me just close with I just want to get back to the fact that this is not something that's an inexpensive venture. So for those that are listening and for those that can help us out on the money side, there are several different sponsorship opportunities, and every dollar helps. Whether you can be a sponsor or not, but you want to do something, please go on the website. There's all the instructions are there. The sponsorship opportunities are there, and we'd appreciate the support, because that's really what we're going to need for the betterment at the end of the day for every citizen in this city and every future citizen of this city.
Definitely. I mean, we have such a strong community and such a community of doers. I mean, everyone wants to help, and even the business community here is fantastic. They always step up. Yep. So yeah, it's been great. And speaking of the business community, I do want to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about your new venture, because I'm really excited about it, and I think you just have a great speaking voice, and I think that you're finding a new business.
Well,
that
thank you.
It's
It's real interesting, and I'm happy to share it with you real quick. So a buddy of mine by the name of Don Kelly. I don't know if you knew Don. Well, Don Kelly was a big Beverly guy. He was the guy. Everybody knew Don, and he did a lot of live auctioneering. All the nonprofits always went to. He was the go-to guy if you needed an MC or an auctioneer. He was the guy. And he used to say to me, you got to do this with me, you got to do this. And I said, Don, not my gig. You're too good at it. You don't need my help. You just keep doing your thing. Well, unfortunately, Don was one of the very first people in Massachusetts to die of COVID back in March of 2021.
Oh, that's so sad.
March of 2020. And to this day, I don't know how this happened, but several of the organizations that Don was the auctioneer for started calling me. Now, I have no idea why these nitwits did this, because I had never done an auction.
Sounds like Don maybe set you up.
So I've actually gone, and I go to see him now and again, and I actually have gone and thanked him for whatever it is he's doing up there. So this, probably 2 years ago now, this started. So I now do a bunch of them. There's now a bunch coming up this year that I'll be doing it for a third year in a row. And basically, Temkin Productions is a company, an LLC, that we provide MC and live auctioneering services. So there are some companies out there that are running meetings, and someone needs to kind of introduce the speakers, kind of handle the day and all type of thing. Yeah. We provide those services. Amazing. And then others need somebody to sell stuff.
Sure.
And so I'll go in and they have a list of items, and we'll go in and have some fun. And the thing that has really been fun with me is just the interaction with the audience, because you have to make that fun. Absolutely. That just can't be a mundane type of thing. So and we try to do that, and it's kind of neat without embarrassing anybody, but it's kind of neat, and we've had some pretty good success with it, and I'm being called back a second and now this year a third year. To do some of these, and
very nice.
So it's been kind of fun. So thank you for asking me. I appreciate
it. Oh my gosh, no, that's so cool. Well, any organizations or nonprofits, schools, companies, anyone who's planning an event, we have Temkin Productions right here in Beverly if you need someone to MC.
Thank you.
Amazing. And
Thanks,
okay,
Linda.
my final question, because you did mention your lovely wife, Francine.
Yes.
And it is Friday night. So if you were to go out on a perfect Beverly night out, where are you going?
So, the perfect is kind of an interesting word. Because I think
Striving for perfection here.
yeah, I think everything is imperfect. But so we tend to frequent the restaurants and the bars in this area quite often.
Oh.
But so I have season tickets at Fenway Park, and I'm a big Red Sox guy. And one of the things that the past couple of years, come to really enjoy is typically Saturday, Sunday games are either 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we drive in and we park the car at a garage in Copley Square, walk to Fenway Park, which is a mile, maybe a little over a mile and a quarter.
Sure.
So it's a nice walk and a nice day. We sit and watch the game. I won't eat. I will probably have a couple of beers, but I won't eat.
Okay.
So we end up walking back to Copley Square, and we almost always end up at Abe and Louie's. So
Okay.
Abe and Louie's is a steakhouse that's been in downtown Boston for
Oh, yeah.
a lot longer than I've been on this planet.
Okay.
And it is great. I have a steak the size of your head, and not that your head's big, but just
I
it's a good,
mean.
yeah. So, and when you sit at a bar, you end up talking to people all over the place, and you meet some
You
nice.
never.
Well, she's worse. So, you end up meeting some nice people and having good conversation, have a couple of cocktails. And then we walk back to the car to go home, and I always try to convince her why it's important that we have a drink in the Oak Room at the Copley Hotel,
Okay.
which I've yet to make that sale. And for a salesman of almost 50 years, it's kind of bothering me.
She's a tough sell. Yeah.
She's a tough sell.
Okay.
So, but it makes for, if the weather cooperates, I don't even care if the Sox win. I could care less. But just sitting there watching the game. We're together, which is kind of fun, and then end up having a nice meal and a
Beautiful.
good discussion with people sitting around. Well, it's kind of cool.
And I mean, how amazing is it that we're here on the North Shore and we're able to get in and out of the city that quickly? It's just so easy.
It
and
really
just
is.
The
It really
accessibility
is.
we have here is pretty incredible.
It is, but we frequent the local restaurants around here a
A little too much?
lot.
Okay.
No, I
love
would never
that.
say too much, but it's a lot.
Yeah. Hey, I'm right there with you. It's too easy because
I
all my
actually
friends
just
are here.
recently saw you at a restaurant.
Yep. Yes, you did. I mean, it's just too easy. I mean, I own a business here, and as soon as we get out, it's like, could we go home and cook? Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
but also,
why do that?
all my friends are at the bar and at the restaurant, and I want to go see them. And
Simple as that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky to have good stuff here.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Al, for coming on. This has been a pleasure. And I'll be seeing you soon. We're
Yes, you
planning
will.
this thing. So
And thank you, Lindsay, for making me so comfortable and making this so easy. I really appreciate this. And I
Anytime.
appreciate your work, and I love working with you on that board.
Oh,
So
thank
keep
you.
up the good work.
All right, thank you. Well, if anyone needs any information on the Beverly 400 and everything we have coming up, you can find information on our website, beverly400.org. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course, you can tune into the podcast. So thank you, and we'll talk to you next month.